Well, boss, a 1-0 win here today at Bishop Stortford. What did you make of the game?
It was probably what I thought it was going to be. I think once the Carabao Cup game came into play, it meant that this was going to be a game that we had to manipulate a little bit. I thought the 6-7 pros that we put out in the first half did it right. Stortford fresh made it difficult for us, didn't give up a lot of space, but we managed the game well. And then excited to see the new crop of young youth team players come onto the pitch, and I thought they really done themselves proud.
Just how important is a game like this for them?
Vital, because walked into the game, well, when we were preparing the game for today, didn't really think about the fact that there was going to be a crowd here. So some of them boys never played in front of a crowd. I think it's important that when they get that first opportunity, they look around the pitch and see Josh Coulson, Sam Sargent, Craig Clay, James Dayton, Joe Widdowson all around them in order to give themselves a chance in the game. Probably would have been too much for them today to have played 90 against Bishop Stortford. So I think that's really key. And then you just want to see a little bit of a few characteristics, few elements of the game's tactical parts of the game that we might have spoken about, or that Alex and Brian have spoken about with them, come out, and we saw that, so it's good.
Touching it a bit there, having the fans back in, how did you find that?
Great, it's great. It was surreal, as it shouldn't be, but it was strange just to see people walking around the ground and not being able to shake hands and have to acknowledge people from a bit of a distance. But on the whole, lovely to have people back, just to hear a few voices or a few claps every time something happens in the game.
That was the final game of pre-season, as you say. Looking back at it, has it been a successful one?
Very much so. I think I said at the weekend after the Gillingham game that we have to put all of the results into context. If we'd have gone unbeaten all the way through, you don't suffer any setbacks. How do we learn how we suffer with some of those? So the games that we haven't won, if you like, there's certainly been positives that have come out of those, and then the ones that we've nicked wins or won games of football comfortably, there'd be negatives that we've had to iron out. So on the whole, the real things that we've put a big focus on, I'm pleased with. And obviously, we're always going to lose one or two during pre-season, which is disappointing. But so far, nothing too long term. So I think that's the biggest plus, and the boys look fit.
Injury-wise, there's Louis Dennis that we know about. Is there any more at the moment that you're kind of nursing injuries on?
We've left Louis running at the training ground today. Ruel suffered a little bit of a tight hamstring last week against West Ham, but he'll be running again tomorrow, so some positive steps like that. The likes of Hector, Jaden Sweeney, Brendan Shabani will probably waiting on a little bit more, but they're all out on their feet in terms of doing a little bit of work, so we're hoping, like I said there, that it's not too long term.
Good stuff. And in terms of pre-season, obviously been good to be back playing football, but competitive football was back on Saturday, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah, and I'm pleased with the shape of the squad and the fact that we're going into that feeling as though we're going to be competitive in terms of that first game and beyond. So so really pleased and obviously really excited. What I would like to say, obviously didn't put it in any of the other questions there, but for me, special credit has to go to Sam Sargent tonight, because after making a number of changes, it would have been very easy for him to have sort of looked round and seen that he was the only real established Embleton Orient pro on the pitch. So I was really impressed with the way that he approached himself this evening. But again, to answer your question, really excited about the weekend, looking forward to getting the real serious stuff going.
It's a bit of a strange one to start the season with a League Cup game and then an EFL Trophy game before the league game. What does that kind of difference give you?
I think it's an opportunity to say that we want to take the game seriously and we want to win on Saturday. But I think at the same time, what it does give you is almost like a bit of an extension, if you like, to looking at what the team looks like before you go into the league season. So don't want to prioritise any game, because I think it is always, like it has been through pre-season, it's important to prioritise your next fixture, because it is always the most important one. So we look forward to the fact that we're going to Forest Green, but then when it comes to the Brighton one on a Tuesday, all of it's still in front of no fans, so it's not like you're sort of putting one as a bigger scale than the other. But ultimately the league is our bread and butter, and we want to be ready for the 12th, but we'll be doing everything we can next week to come away with a result at Forest Green.